Okay, so we're going to the Grinch's workshop, and this will be Raqq versus Ossie. Both of these players are they've been around. Like they're certainly not new players. Ossie's like is like old gen as hell, and Raqq, while I think he's pretty new, I still have seen him since I basically joined this server, so still pretty old. But interestingly enough, I still don't have that much of a read on either of them. Despite the fact that I have actually played against Ossie multiple times, and same with Raqq. I was actually with Raqq in the same clan, so I should know more about him. But honestly, I barely know anything about either of these players. But yeah, anyway, and simple little wire crawl setup at the start there. Nothing too crazy for now. Both of these players pretty easily making it past. Raqq did lose a life though, so that may be an omen for the future. Okay. Now something interesting about these two players is that they're both very fucking good at the video game. So we can expect some really insane setups here very, very soon. As we all know, good players like to make the map really, really hard, really, really fast. Raqq with the wrecking ball here, trying to add some more cycles here. Ossie with the crossbow. Are they gonna make a complete monstrous cycle stack right at the start already? Not quite. The arrow plays somewhere else. Thank God, Ossie. I did not want to watch them struggle through seven different cycles right at the start of the map. Yeah, both of these players showing why they're both really high ranked and like really good at the video game, clearing everything effortlessly. No lives lost from either side. The only slight struggle we see is Ossie struggling to sprint jump. Okay, now we're going to 8 turns remaining. Now, Ossie has seen some success in tournaments, namely underdogs. I am pretty sure he got third after beating Hackacat's insane underdog run, ironically in underdogs. And yeah, he's done really well for himself in some tourneys. Raqq, on the other hand, he's basically only played amateur brackets. I don't remember if he won the last one that he played in, but he either won it or placed second and got the advanced roll through that. Yeah, anyway, in the meantime, while I was talking, Cycle Mania was placed here, and I have only one thing to say. Ew. Raqq is sitting, thinking, looking for the timing, getting sniped by the wrecking ball. Okay. So it seems like they're trying to go about this like they started trying to go about this from like the block above, like from the flower. Raqq there tried to go from like below so that he doesn't have to hit the squeeze in. Okay, seems like both players are considering their options on when to go here. Yeah, no, this is just a really weird cycle. Raqq thinks he's got it, not quite, gets sniped by the crossbow. Ossie, not quite, gets punched by the flower. Couldn't quite get the bailout. Now, 25 seconds remaining. This is still a very beatable map if they just get past the stack, but neither of them can get past, and that'll be 7 turns remaining, and for the first time, no players have made it to the flag. And as we know, that's when the game truly begins. Now Raqq with the dynamite. He could try to look for dynamite on something in the stack, but no, he bombs a crate. Now Ossie, not doing anything with his plank. Why did I do that? Yeah, yeah, I accidentally took an item, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Are they just placing a crate then? Okay, adding some more difficulty to the end of the map, because currently it is literally just the start that is difficult. See, Ozzy tried to go for that safe looking spot here, but that spot on the right is still not safe. That will get you killed from the Arsaw. But they are using it to align onto the flower and then jump through. That does make sense. Yeah, something I didn't actually know about these plays is how good they were with wire crawls. They are scarily consistent at this. But yeah, apparently both of them have this out their arsenal. Anyway, Ozzy out of lives, Raqq with his last and gets sniped. Now, I don't think this is something that will apply in this game, but I mean, maybe we've got some walls that are super jumpable. Ozzy is pretty good at super jumps, but I've seen him be outperformed by many players with better super jumping capabilities. Take Hackacat beating him in I think it was corruption. I need to stop taking items first. Yeah, I think it was in corruption, and yeah, he beat Ozzy and also Unmei by just basically super jumping better than them. So if Raqq can actually maybe set up a super jump here, and the thing is I don't know the status of Raqq super jumping capabilities, and okay, everything's fine. Ozzy's not AFK. I've just seen Ozzy's just not quite as good as you might hope at super jumps. It's not necessarily a disadvantage of his, but I've seen him lose sets due to super jumps. But again, I've basically never seen these plays even interact with the wire crawl before. But Ozzy finally getting past it after it being nerfed again with that plank. Now this time with the two crossbows, kind of hard, but Ozzy does make it past. This could be a scoring ground here if Ozzy just makes it to the flag, but Raqq is also through the cycle stack. Now this setup at the end is also not easy. This is really weird, but Ozzy out of lives after losing to that last setup, and he's body blocking the arrow. What a clutch play from Ozzy to end. Raqq completely whiffs it. Raqq whiffs the half block landing for the freest point in of. Okay, yeah, no, I'm not gonna call it the freest point. Yeah, no, that's just insulting. But yeah, no, just a rough scenario for both sides there. Just Raqq dying barely to a half block landing. Right after Ozzy body blocks the arrows for him. Just interesting circumstances. I think it's 5 times remaining. I hope I can count. I forgot to count for the past few rounds, which is kind of annoying. He's hoping they just don't make it impossible. Okay. Anyway, back to this setup. Now, Ozzy. Hoping that he does not body block the arrows once again. Now, this setup is being nerfed a lot with this L-Saw. But Ozzy falling all the way down, getting over it style. Raqq making it to the flag. Now, can Ozzy parkour to join him? Gets past the Elsa, and yes, he can. Okay. Now let's see here. The wires from Raqq. And same with Ossie. Now let's see. Is Raqq gonna look for something aggressive here? Seems like he is. Damn, that setup at the end just got quite a bit harder. Okay, hopefully Ossie's gonna move soon. Yes, he is. And missing the jump of that wire that I'm pretty sure he set up himself. Yeah. Yeah, okay, not quite getting past that cycle stack. And dying to that jump again. Raqq with all 4 lives remaining. Ossie with already on his last. Okay. Now Ossie on that cycle stack. Can he get past? No, he cannot. This could be our first score here if Raqq just finishes it off. See, all he needs to do is not get sniped in straight in the back. Okay, yeah, and he does it. That will be 3-1-0 to Raqq. Okay, Okay, great job to Raqq here for getting the 1-0. Honestly, I expected this game to kind of be a wash for Ossie. I don't know these players that well, but I know them well enough to know to at least form an opinion that Ossie is the better player. Like, at least that was my impression. But I mean, anything can happen in one game of UCH. This game is crazy chaotic and hilarious, and we all love it. Now let's see. What's Raqq's plan here to close it out? Okay, interesting. Wonder how that T-spike will come into effect. Yeah, that arrow being bombed, making this setup significantly easier. Ossie dying to the wires on the floor. What a rough way to go out. Raqq dying to the same wires on the floor. Just as rough of a way to go out, especially after Ossie already died to them. Okay. Now, Raqq, this time, learning from his mistakes. Ossie looking for the timing, finding it. Also learning from his mistakes, not dying to the wires on the floor again. Now Ossie with 2 lives remaining, Raqq with 3 as they approach the final setup. Now Raqq hitting the jump out into the getting onto the T-spike. Overall, sensible strategy. Can Ossie accomplish it as well? Yes, he can. That will be 2 turns, 1-0 to Raqq. Okay. Now Ossie's gonna try to find a way back into this game. I really like the ending. The ending does seem slightly advantage to Raqq. It does feel like he shaped it more to his liking. So if I were Ossie, I would try to make the ending something that I like more. Yeah, seems like he's trying to do just that with that spike ball. See, I can see a couple ways of going about this setup. Okay, now that crossbow adds a lot more difficulty to the way I thought about doing it. I thought about landing on the half block right next to the crossbow and then jumping in and then jumping to the alpha. Yeah, that crossbow makes it a lot more difficult. Raqq missing that wire crawl. I'm pretty sure that's like the first time we've seen either of them miss this wire crawl like the entire game. They've both been locked in on that. Anyway, 3 lives remaining for both of them heading into that last setup. Yeah, currently they're basically playing hopscotch over each other's heads. Or is it called leapfrog? I honestly don't know what game that is. Yeah, anyway, Raqq biding his time for the correct timing, but still gets sniped. 2 lives remaining for both of them. Now I did not see that plank in the end getting added. That makes this setup a whole lot more interesting. Well, it is still just a squeeze. It is just a, I guess I'd call it a squeeze out. So nothing too insane, but still pretty cool. Okay, let's see how Ossie approaches this. Yeah, trying to go for the wall jump here. Okay, he's dead. So is Raqq. They both decide not to respawn. One last turn. All eyes on Ossie. He needs something, and he needs it now. Okay, Raqq adding that crate there makes sense. That was the thing he died to. The thing he died to was running too fast. Well, running too fast headfirst into those wires that were blocked by the crate. Okay, Ossie adding those wires, making that starting jump a heck of a lot more difficult. Now, I think this is one thing I have seen Ossie practice. These weird ass jumps between wires. I think this is something I have seen Ossie practice. And of course, the second I say that, Raqq gets it first try, and Ossie can't get it. Okay. 3 lives remaining for Raqq, 2 for Ossie. Now again, all eyes on Ossie. He's the one with the pressure on him in this situation. 2 lives for Raqq. Raqq gets it again. Okay. Now Ossie can't get that jump below that yellow ornament. This will be last life for Ossie. Potentially last life for the entire. Potentially last life for the game if he does not score here. Pushing the setup he failed at last time. Can he get the jump? He's trying to be more careful here, and he does. Now, if Raqq makes it to the flag, this game is over either way. But Raqq gets sniped out. Raqq out of lives, Ossie last life remaining. Can he clutch this and give us an incredibly hyped tiebreaker? Gonna try and go for the wall jump, but he gets sniped. That'll be GG. Raqq wins 1-0. Okay.